friends, welcome to my channel. This is your girl Bidisha, and in today's video we are going to talk about the new foundation from Tomford, the Traceless Soft Matte Foundation. We are going to do an in-depth review of this foundation, application, wear test, check-ins, and at last my final thoughts. But before that, if you are new to my channel, thanks for stopping by. We talk anything about makeup and beauty, so please consider subscribing to my channels, and please don't forget to hit the notification bell icon next to it so that you are not missing any of my future video. And if you are an oldie but a goodie, thanks Han for showing me so much of loves and support. You guys means a lot to me. And if you want to know what I do in between YouTube, please visit my Instagram page, the Bidisha's Makeups. And without further ado, let's get started. Now let's talk about the housekeeping stuff of this foundation. This foundation retails for $88 and this has a net weight of 1 fluid ounce, and this is made in Belgium. So if you follow me Instagram, you know how much frustrated I am with how this foundation came to me. This came totally broken. So this is how the cap came. This is how the foundations looks like. It is all messy, it is all dripping all the over, and if I just take it out, this is a $88 Tomford foundation came to me. Now I cannot pump this out, and what I'm doing right now is I am just opening it in this way, and that is also creating much more messiness right now. So yes, that's all I have to say about the packaging. I cannot show you guys how good the packaging is or how it looks like because my one is default. But let me know in the comment section down below, are you having a problem with the foundation packaging? I don't know, this is the first time I'm getting a foundation with this kind of faulty packaging, and that's the frustration right now I'm having with the packaging. Now let me go ahead and read out what this foundation claims in the Sephora website. It says that this foundation provides a matte finish without looking cakey or dry. Soft focus microspheres powders blur the look of the imperfections, and where extending pigments provide medium full buildable coverage. Skin still looks and moves skin-like and feels smoother over time, even after foundation has been removed. So it tells that even after I remove the foundation, the skin will feel smoother. Now this foundation also claims that the formula is humidity and sweat resistant, and this is designed for all skin types. Now I am having a oily to normal skin, so definitely we can test whether this foundation holds true in my skin. And definitely we can also test the sweat resistant claims because the area where I'm right now is 100, so definitely we can see how the foundation holds good. So let's move on to the application of this foundation on my face, and then my initial thoughts after I applied this foundation. And as I said that I'm going to do a wear test and check-in, so stay tuned for that too. So before I apply the foundation on my face, I just want you guys to know what is already there in my face. So the first thing which I have is my morning skincare products, and that is the same thing which I used every day for any makeup I put on my face. The next thing I have is the primer, and which is the Tatcha, the Silk Canvas Primer. This is my favorite primer to use. Let me also tell you how I'm going to apply the foundation on my face today. I'm going to use a brush which is Sigma Flat Kabuki F80 brush, and then I'm also going to use a beauty blender to apply the foundation. Now this side of my face I'm going to use the brush, and this side of my face I'm going to use the beauty blender, and at last when I have the foundation applied, I'm just going to use the beauty blender to smoothen it out. So let's start. Now as you know, I got this broken foundation coming in, so I'm just going to pump the foundation out of this bottle. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to open the bottle because I'm not able to pump out, and I'm just going to open the bottle and I'm going to directly pour it from here. This is really bizarre, and let me just do a quick swatch on my face to show you guys the shade I am using. And I am in the shade 7.2 Sepia, and this is how it looks like. It's a shade lighter, than my skin tone. This side I'm using the brush and I'm just going to dab, and I'm just dabbing the foundation into my skin. And this is kind of the first layer of application. This gives a coverage but not full coverage. And this is just one pump. Now let me use the beauty blender on this side of my face and see how it get applied with the beauty blender. I'm just taking a little bit on the beauty blender and again dab the foundation on my face. I think the application with the beauty blender is very smooth. Now if I see both the side, I feel like this side is having more coverage. Like the side where I'm applying with the beauty blender is having more coverage than the side I used with the brush. I'm taking a little bit more and going on the forehead. So this is how it looks like after one pump of application on both the side. This is with the brush and this is with the beauty blender. And for me, I feel like I am having more coverage in this side than this side. So let me go with the second layer and see how it looks. Again, I'm going to use the brush on this side. And I am just bringing it down to my neck to match the color of my face and on the neck. And I'm going to use the beauty blender for this side. Though I see a lot of more coverage, but still I'm going to go with the second layer. And this is how it looks like after the second layer of application. The side with the beauty blender, this side with the brush. It's definitely now giving a medium to full coverage, but not a full coverage. Now this shade, as I mentioned, is not a a perfect shade for my skin tone, so this might look a little bit offbeat right now, but I'm going to complete my entire makeup and try to make this shade work for my skin tone. I'm going to come back after completing my entire makeup and going to give you guys my initial thought. So this is how the final looks turns out to be, and the product I used after I applied the foundations or the cap is totally making me crazy. But I have used the concealer, this one, on my under eye and the high points of my face. I have also baked that with the Huda Beauty baking powder. I have used the bronzer from Hourglass and the blush from Hourglass. This is Moon Exposure and this is Radiant Bronzer Light. I love these two products. I have also have highlighter from the Ghost palette and I'm using this highlighter on my face, and then I have set my entire face with the new Hourglass powder, which is this one. I'm testing this baby, so yes, a review is coming for this too. So that's all I have on my face, and lipsticks, and then I have done my eyeshadow. Well, this is the box, this is the palette, which is mini retro eyeshadow palettes. Talking about my initial thought about this foundation, I would say this foundation really applied well. It's been 30 minutes I have applied the foundation and this product, so it is holding good. I feel like this has given a medium coverage, and that's all I wanted. I didn't want it a full coverage today, so it is definitely a buildable foundation. So yes, this has given a nice buildable coverage. Now talking about the product I used on my face today, none of the powder product was having any difficulty to apply. Everything went smooth and nice. Now the only issue I have with this foundation was while I was applying the concealer, and this is only the liquid product I used on my face today. Now I don't think this is having any problem with this concealer, because I'm using this concealer for right now for 1 or 2 months with different foundation, and it really works good. Now what the problem I was having is, as I applied the concealer under my eyes and high point, and I took the sponge to dab it and smooth that out, it was moving around. So that's the issue, like it was not sticking to the place and it was just dragging, and it was also taking off the foundation. So I have to reapply the concealer and again go back and dab and make it work. And yes, that's my initial thought about this foundation, and I'm going to do a day-long wear test, and I'm going to do a couple of checkings with you guys to let you know how the foundation is standing true throughout the day. So I'll see you guys in my next check-in. So this is how the foundation is looking like in the natural light, and it's been an hour or so I have applied and completed my makeup, but I just want to show you guys how it looks initially on a natural light, and this is how it's looking right now. And it looks pretty because it's just been applied, but I'm going to check in and see how it holds throughout the day. And yes, that's how it is. I'm going to see you guys in my next check-in. So this is how the foundation is looking like after around 4.5 hours. I feel it's holding good. I don't see any crack or anywhere the foundation is getting off, so it's fine. I also don't see any kind of oiliness whatsoever in my face. It's a lot of sound. We just came for lunch, so yeah, there's lots of sound, but yeah, that's how it's holding good. That's all I can see. So let's move on to my final thoughts about this foundation. And right now it is 10:49 and it is almost like 12 hours from the time I applied this foundation. So definitely I have lots of points to let you guys know, and I have written it down so that I'm not missing anything. Right now I did little bit of touch up, and this is how my face looks right now. Now I will be talking about few points that is claimed by this foundation, and I'm going to try to make you guys know that whether those claims are standing true or not. Now the first claim this foundation has is this is a medium to buildable foundation, and when you apply it layers, it does not make your skin look cakey. I think this is a true claim because I applied 2 layers of foundation and my skin did not look cakey. Now I didn't did a full coverage foundation today, but with 2 layers of foundation my skin was looking flawless, and also you can build the foundation coverage with different layers. So definitely this claim is true. The second claim this foundation is having, that this is made for all skin type, and that means it is not particularly made for oily skin. Now my skin type is a oily skin to normal skin, so most of the time if the foundation is not meant for oily skin, my T-zone and the cheeks of my skin becomes more oily than the other parts of my face, and this foundation has did the same thing. What this foundation did is this hold it for a longer time before the oil starts to come out in my T-zone or my cheek. So I definitely feel it will suit other skin type, but I cannot comment on dry skin or more oily skin. But yes, if you are oily to normal skin, you can use this foundation, but remember after certain hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours, your T-zone and the cheeks, the place where you have oil comes out, that will become oily. The third point is this foundation never say that this is a long wearing foundation, but I have wear this foundation now for straight 12 hours and I feel this has done a great job. It holds the foundation really good. Now for me being oily skin, it started to be oily on my T-zone. Other than that, my jawline, my forehead, everywhere the foundation hold good for a long hours, and it didn't break in my mouth area, it didn't break in any part of my face. So I am really happy that this has passed the test of a mark of 7 to 8 hours very nicely, and also it is holding good after 12 hours. So if you do little bit of touch up, I think this can be a very long wearing foundation. I didn't did any kind of touch up in between just to test this foundation, but if we do little bit of touch up and blot our oil, I think this foundation will hold good for at least 8 to 9 hours depending on your skin type. The fourth point is this foundation claims that this makes your skin looks blur and also this makes your skin look smooth. I definitely agree to that. This has really made my skin look blurred and also made my skin look smooth. I think applying with sponge really give a more coverage and smooth application rather than a brush application. I applied this side of my face with a sponge and instantly I would have seen that this is looking much more smoother. With time, this foundation blended into my skin so naturally and it just make my skin looks its own skin but a better version. I definitely feel it has not enhanced the texture of my skin, so that is a very added advantage. Now this is a mattifying foundation, but what I feel about this foundation, it is not that kind of extreme mattify effect where you start to feel dryness in your skin. So most of the time when we talk about a mattifying foundation, back of the mind we think of oily skins or it is suitable for oily skin type people. But for this foundation, as they have mentioned, it is for all skin type. I think they have kept that mattifying effect into a balanced position where everybody can use this. Now this foundation also claimed that this is a humid and sweat proof. Now after applying this foundation, I was out for 5 to 6 hours straight with a temperature of 99 to 100 Fahrenheit and I didn't feel that I am sweating or my foundation is going off. So it hold true in my face for that long hour, and yeah, I think even this claims holds true for this foundation. Now one more interesting fact I have to talk about this foundation, which this foundation by the way does not claim, but that's what I tested, is these days we are all wearing masks and this is one of the challenge we are having, that while we wear masks our foundation or the makeup goes off. Now I was wearing masks the time I was out of the house, which is pretty much 5 to 6 hours, and in fact I was wearing the mask for about at least 1 to 2 hours while I was doing my shopping, and this foundation didn't came out. When I took off my mask, there was no makeup whatsoever on the mask. So I definitely gives A+ to this foundation on the mask wearing test. Now overall, after applying this foundation, I feel very light on my face and I never feel that I am having any makeup on my face. Also, all the powder products which I used on top of this foundation really blended nicely and give a very smooth and nice impact. Now only problem I was having was with the concealer, and I'm going to try different concealer with this foundation to see whether I have a problem with this concealer formula with this foundation or something else, and I'm going to report back on this in the description box. But yes, other than the concealer, I think all the other products really blended nicely and I never felt that I am wearing makeup for last 12 hours. Now one thing I have to mention about this foundation is this foundation do oxidize. Now I was using the shade 7.2, which is Sepia, and that shade is one shade lighter than my skin tone, but by the time I completed my makeup, which is around 30 minutes, this foundation got oxidized and this was complementing my skin tone. So I think this shade is right now perfect for me. Lastly, I have to say this is a good foundation and it has hold true to all the claims it is having, and also for a first impression and a one-day use of 12 hours, I think this has done a pretty great job. Now I cannot say whether this will be my staple in my collection right away, because for that I have to use it for more time, but if this pops up in any of my favorite video, you guys will be knowing whether this is a staple in my collection or not. Also, I want to mention that a foundation is something which may suits for me or may not suit for you. So recommending a foundation is a very tricky question, but overall I can say this is a good foundation. This is for all the skin type, at least I felt in that way. Also, you can wear this for a pretty much 6 to 7 hours window. After that, you have to do a touch up and maintain it. And yes, that's all I have to say about this foundation. And if you really enjoyed my video today, then please give a thumbs up and like and share and comment down below. And I will going to see you guys in my next video. Till then, bye.